As kids, we find comfort in dolls. They're a fun and delightful companion during playtime. As we grow older, however, these once cherished playthings transform into pure nightmare. The vacant eyes and frozen grins are scary enough. But what happens when a doll stirs in the night and starts moving on its own? Welcome to Five-tastic, and today we're talking about 5 haunted dolls you do not want in your home. Robert was an inspiration for the terrifying Chucky doll of Child's Play series. Robert is a life-size doll, which is rather unusual in itself. It was reportedly made by the famous Steve toy company in Germany. It was given to Florida artist Robert Eugene Otto as a birthday present when he was a child in 1904. His grandfather had bought it while on a trip to Germany. The doll wears a sailor suit that was probably a childhood outfit of the real Gene. Another story has it that the doll was a gift from a malicious voodoo practicing maid as revenge for some unknown wrongdoing by the family. Stories of the doll's odd behavior began early, with reports of the doll changing expressions and moving around the house on its own. One theory says that Gene himself unleashed the doll's powers by blaming his childhood misdeeds on the life-size doll who wore his clothes and had his name. Those who lived in the house reported hearing Gene talking to Robert. Perhaps not that unusual, but Robert would talk back. As the years went on, Robert's deeds turned darker. The doll is blamed for many misfortunes, including financial collapse, broken bones, and car accidents. Robert remained in the Otto family home in Key West, Florida, throughout Gene's life and even after his death. The house passed to new owners who kept the living doll for 20 years. Robert now resides in a museum in Key West where brave tourists can visit him. Annabelle is a Raggedy Ann doll, now imprisoned in special glass case in the collection of famous paranormal investigators Ed and Lorraine Warren. Annabelle is so famous that she was the inspiration for a movie and a sequel. In the movie, Annabelle is played by a much creepier looking doll. In real life, Annabelle has the same sweet face of any Raggedy Ann. Her story, however, is not sweet at all. According to the Warrens, Annabelle was given to a young nursing student named Donna by her mother in 1970. The doll would move around the apartment when Donna and her roommate Angie weren't home. The young women were willing to put up with the doll that moved around on her own, but things soon got scarier. The doll left notes asking for help. Then she attacked Angie's boyfriend. When the young woman found blood on the doll's dress, they called in a psychic. The psychic revealed that the doll was possessed by the spirit of a girl named Annabelle. The girl's next call was to the Warrens, who took Annabelle out of their hands, putting her in a glass case with a written warning to the unsuspecting. Positively do not open. Mandy does not play well with the others. In the Queensell Museum in Canada, where she now lives, staff say they must keep her in a separate display case. When she is displayed with other dolls, she knocks them over. Staff also report that lunches disappear and that visitors' cameras often fail when taking pictures of the doll. Mandy is a porcelain baby doll, probably manufactured in Europe around 1910. The woman who donated her reportedly told the museum she was getting rid of the doll because it would cry at night. Letta the Doll, also known as Letta Me Out, is truly one of the scariest looking haunted dolls out there. The child-sized figurine is said to be about 200 years old and is made out of carved wood and real human hair. The doll's owner, Kerry Walton, claims to have found Letta in the 1970s while exploring a deserted home in Wagga Wagga, Australia. Walton brought back the figurine to his home in Queensland. Soon thereafter, strange events began to occur. Household items shifted positions. Scuff marks appeared on the floor. Walton's children complained of nightmares. One night, they woke up screaming that Letta was talking and moving around on its own. Dogs turned aggressive whenever they were near the doll, while the guests claimed to see the doll move. At some point, Walton tried to sell off Letta, only to find that he physically couldn't get him out of the car. Walton asserts Letta's origins trace back to Eastern Europe. He believes the doll is a vessel haunted by the spirit of a boy who drowned many years ago. Letta currently tours around Australia, with Walton sitting on the laps of those who are brave enough to take a picture with the grinning figurine. Janesville, Minnesota is a fine example of a small town America. With a population of just over 2,000 people, it's the kind of community you drive through at an easy pace. Today, Highway 14 sidesteps Main Street, Janesville entirely. Still, until a few years ago, curiosity seekers followed the old Highway 14 route to First Street in search of a peculiar local mystery. Their destination? An unassuming house with an eerie figurine framed in the attic window, its blank stare peering out of the glass. It was known as the Janesville Doll. What was the secret of the doll? Who put him there and why? Dozens of explanations cropped up over the years, some more fanciful than others. Eventually, the small town mystery transformed into a full-blown urban legend. The story of the doll centers on the house's owner and the death of the owner's young daughter. Her demise changed depending on which account you heard. In some versions, she succumbed to an illness or a tragic accident, while in others, her end was far grislier. In one dark tale, the girl was abused and neglected by her family. Neighbors feared her, and she soon became the prisoner of her own attic room. Overwhelmed with sorrow, the girl hanged herself. Her parents, realizing what they had done, placed the doll in the attic window as a memorial. Soon thereafter, the Janesville doll allegedly came to life. Visitors claimed to see that the doll sometimes changed position, or that its placid expression transformed into anger, glaring at onlookers from behind the glass. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure you hit that subscribe button for more interesting content. See you again next week.